What if I told you that you can actually read books despite of a short attention span? It's something that I did, right, and I overcome in the past few years. And I know how everyone can do it too, because I helped others do the same. And the way I'm going to show you that is I'm going to tell you why you should do it. I'm going to tell you how you can do it. And then I'm going to give you a secret of mine. So the way that I like to do it is you have to comprehend one thing, is that books and reading books is a necessity in today's world. Okay? And I had this crippling thought that I always had in my head, which is books isn't all technology. I don't want to be using an old technology because I'm a modern man. I want to be using the modern technologies. That's what I have to do. That's what I want to do, which is awesome on paper, but in reality, once you look at every successful person, all of them read books. Not any books, so you eliminate the fiction, you eliminate all of the romance, drama, bullshit. So you end up with financial, psychological, self-help books and stuff like that. And it's always like comes into these genres of books that you have to read in order for you to become successful. At least that's what the theory says. Hypothetically, that's what you should do. When you see Elon Musk was reading one book a day when he was young, and now he's the richest man on the planet, the owner of Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company, etc. You see all of the other examples. You see like Steve Jobs. You see like a tremendous amount of examples. You're like, well, that actually makes sense. And also, like, we're now on YouTube. So YouTube, you see Eman Gadzi was reading books. He said he was reading one book a week. So you're like, okay, I'm not at the stage where these people are, so I might as well do what they say they were doing in my stage. So now this is not only that, but also reading books, like I had this idea too, is that what is the thing that will prevent me from watching YouTube videos and actually go read a full book? Why don't I just really just watch YouTube video with visuals, with the sounds on, everything, and it will give me same content of the book in like 20 minutes. That's what I thought. Well, it's absolutely wrong. And the reason behind it is simply like a book takes at least 3 years to get written. It takes so much time to get written. In some cases, 20 years. Think and Grow Rich, 22 years. Napoleon Hill was doing the research for the book. 22 years. It's a lot of work. And the words that are chosen are meticulously chosen. It's not just some random words that you can find on a YouTube video. It's meticulously written time and time again. Like, you have no clue about how many versions the books have. I'm pretty sure like some books have 30 versions, 40 versions, maybe more, right? Which is like one part of the game. So this means that the book will give you the highest ROI of every word that you read. More than that, it will give you the highest ROI of your time in terms of knowledge. And not other than that, is that it gives you specified knowledge. You will never find like a book, I'm pretty sure you can, but you don't want to read them, is general knowledge. It's like a book about everything. It does not exist. Because in order for you to write a very big book, you have to write it about a specific thing, right? So, and that's why, like, it's so good. And in order for you to write a book, you have to write a lot of stuff. To write a lot of stuff that is not bullshit, you have to do a lot of research. You have to have a lot of experience. You have a lot of data. You have to analyze a lot, make a lot of decisions, have your own stories, collect stories of others, all of that. So this not only higher the value of books, but also convince anyone to read books in comparison with this argument that why shouldn't I just watch a YouTube video? So this is your answer. Because this is something that I actually thought why shouldn't I use the technology that I have right now? I have visuals, I have audio visuals. I should use that. No. No. And also, like, there's proven statistics which says, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know the resource, you can search that up, which says that every book you read, so the people that reads the book, not all of them have the same experiences. So if I read the 4-hour work week and you read the 4-hour work week, doesn't mean that our experiences will be the same. The meaning of the words are not 100% the same for me and for you. So my mind is visualizing other stuff than what your mind will be visualizing. So if I do the work on your behalf and just make the visuals for you on a YouTube video, I'll literally just cut down the value of the book to my limiting knowledge, to my experience. Right? Unless if I have more experience than the author of the book, then maybe you might as well just go read it and not listen it from me. Okay, that's awesome. But still, you have no clue about how to start reading books. Now you want to read books, actually. You want to read a lot of books. You want to read 1 book a week, 2 books a week, 1 book a day, 3 books a day. Awesome, cool. Here there's 2 types of people. The first one is the person who has never read books. If you've never read books, I encourage you to read like a small book. Who Moved My Cheese, and as an example, Persuasion, 30 to 70 pages books. You can read them in one take, like 1-2 hours, that's it. Who Moves My Cheese, you can probably read it in way less. So this is awesome, right? This is awesome. You get the book and also like have a feeling. You have experienced reading books. Now you can decide, do you want to continue or do you want to stop? So it's your decision to make. If you have read a little bit of books, which is my situation for a long period of time, I have read a lot of books. I've read like 3-4 books, but I stopped afterwards because I thought that there's not a lot of books that are worth my time, or the books are repetitive or whatever bullshit I thought. It's wrong, and it was my ignorance. Because if you think that there's no books that suits you, then you don't know the books that they are. And the way to find them is actually like not very easy. The way I did it is just pick up the first book that I think is worth it. So usually content creators make some books sometimes. You can start with that if someone you like, or someone, let's say you watch Netflix, the owner of Netflix or the CEO has a book recommendation, and just look at anyone who you respect or you want to be like him and see any book recommendation. If it aligns with you, go read it. Because sometimes they do recommend, like Elon Musk, yeah, sure, I want to be like him. But still, like he sometimes recommends some books that I don't find very interesting in my stage. Awesome. Now that you have a little bit of a plan, because what I want to give you is practical plans. I don't want you to watch my video and be like, oh, cool, I'm not going to do any of that. I want to give you practical knowledge that you can literally do while watching the video. You know, I want, like, once you finish the video, you're already off the start. So one thing that I did is actually, I'm pretty sure that it's the most important of the entire process on why I started reading like 2 months ago. I did a research about myself. I did an analysis of myself. 13 months of my life, analyzed 18 metrics. One of them was reading books. And I found out that what I think is the best version of myself, the period that where I was closest to that, I was reading books. And it makes all the sense. I was like, oh, well, then I have to go read books. It's just a no-brainer because I want to become the best version of myself. If the closest to the best version of myself in the past 30 months was reading books, I might as well go read books as well. And also, like, I found out that the worst version of myself didn't read any books. So it's kind of like, oh, well, that's a no-brainer. Which makes all the sense. And actually, this was the main reason for me personally to go ahead and read books. Like, all in, head on, read a lot of books. But you know, this is something that might not be accessible. Like, if you want to take my experience for it, sure, take my analysis, take my decision, and go do it. If you want to do the same and you have read books, a little bit of books before, I also advise you to go do it. Go do the entire analysis. analyze and see. Ask yourself, what's the best version of myself in the past 30 months? And look, were you reading books? Were you not reading books? Look at the worst period of your life, or in the past 30 months, the worst version. Were you reading books? Were you not reading books? If there is a contradicting results, then it might be very clear. And trust me, it is reading books. Okay, now that's awesome. Now I'm going to tell you how you can actually do it, how you can start despite of your short attention span. So I thought that short attention span will be fixed by stopping social media, which is I did for about a year. I just stopped. I was deleting Instagram, I was deleting all of the social media apps because I watched like a couple of YouTube videos about dopamine detox and how it actually affects you. It's bullshit. So I did that. It had no effect whatsoever. Like, sure, I can stop using social media, but it just didn't better my attention span, and that's my personal, and didn't better my mental state as well. So I think for me, if you have a short attention span, probably you're not watching this video. So if you're watching this video, the odds are you don't have short attention span. You might think you have, but you don't, right? Even if you do have, let's say hypothetically, you are able to watch this video with a short attention span, you have to make a bold decision and read the first book. And you will find out that it's not actually contradicting, right? So you find that while reading the books, you will stimulate your imagination. It's more valuable, it's more important than any of the TikTok or Instagram or short videos that you will ever watch. Because your imagination, you will tap into your unconsciousness, which is unlimited intelligence, unlimited experiences, unlimited data that you have collected throughout your life. And the no-brainer will be, of course, I'm going to continue, right? If you've done all of the stuff that I said, there is 90% chance that you will start reading book. I'm going to give you other stuff that will guarantee it. One, you have to start today. So as you're watching this, you have to minimize the delay between you wanting to do something or deciding to do it. As an example, you want to read books and you actually start reading books. So just start today. And you know, the famous quote is that there's no perfect conditions to start. The perfect condition is starting, or starting is the perfect conditions. Because you have to start. If you're waiting for something, or you're waiting to have more time in something, you will never have time. You know that you have the stuff that are coming in the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. There's just more responsibilities that will be on your shoulders, which are, to say the least, more time consuming. So might as well starting now. You know, if you are right now going through things, then you might as well start it now. So when it's easy, you already have it because you did it in the hard times. You know, so it's always these mental, processes that you go through to make the decision. Awesome. Now you know why you should read books. Now you know how to read books. Now I'm going to give you secrets of mine. So one of my secrets is actually reading books. Like, as an example, I have few physical books right here. I have few physical books, but also financially, in the state that I am in, I can now just buy every book that I want, right? So it's not like every book that I want, I can just go buy. If you can, sure, it's good, go buy it. For me, I would like to read it on my phone, but also I don't like how PDFs look. You swap like that, or swap like that, or on computer, whatever. It's not very practical. So the way I did it is just to use EPUB, which is a format instead of PDF, and read it on your phone, on Apple Books, right? Some of them are even in the Apple Books store. You can just download them and use them. And it's so better, dude. It's just way better. The text is clearer. The way you read the books is optimized, and it's actually good. And it also tracks how many time you're spending on reading books. So if you want to get like a streak, It tells you how many minutes you spend a day, how many days you are reading if you have a streak. And these notes are pretty much good. And also it tells you what are the books that you have read this year, which is all along, like, I think it's a very good, healthy space to be in and to read, instead of just downloading PDFs, which for me, I found like the furthest I went with PDFs is 2 books. It's not very practical. So yeah, use this format, use the Books Apple Store, and just start reading books. And I know that you are some of the closest 5 people, but not necessarily you associate with people that read books. Actually, 2 of my friends read books, which I think probably helped me at some point or another. But more importantly, as I told you, for me, it was my analysis that I did for myself. So find something that is the equivalent of my analysis. You can do your analysis as well. You can do your analysis, or just do, mental process. We're like, okay, do I want to read books? Yes. Why I'm not reading books now? And you go through the process like a sales process. You basically negotiate with yourself until you're like, oh, well, I have no reason why. It's just like, I don't want to read books, and I know books are better for me, so I should just read them. And basically that was it. Subscribe, bro.